bad thing, in my opinion. If the British Army goes down, the UK would be a weakness for other countries to attack it. We need to have our British forces up and strong to prevent an attack. Why are they doing this? Because the money cuts, or they don't want to pay out the money. I've been in any other country wouldn't stand for this. Why is this happening? It says one Sheffield, England, directed this woman. We need this woman to talk about it. Different country.
They once said the sun never sets on the empire, and the statement stood true for about a century and a half. And the reason was the mighty army of the British Empire. But now, the UK's defence forces are weak. Tobias Ellwood, a senior Conservative MP, has asked the government to reverse the cuts and be on a war footing in the wake of the Russia-Ukraine war. The statement comes in the backdrop of reports of a senior US general telling Defense Secretary Ben Wallace that the British Army is no longer regarded as a top-level fighting force. Last year, Britain approved downsizing of its army by 10,000 personnel, bringing the effective number to a mere 72,500. This comes as the UK is supplying weapons and support to Ukraine in the ongoing war against Russia. Meanwhile, the Commons Defence Select Committee has set up a subcommittee to look at the problems regarding modernisation of the UK's heavy armoured vehicles. The committee will be chaired by former Armed Forces Minister Mark Francois. The current budget is about $57 billion a year, the second largest in NATO after the United States. But given the threat of the Ukraine war spilling over into Europe, and there are threats from China, North Korea and Iran as well, these were identified last year in Britain's high-level defence strategy, the Integrated Review. Experts are calling for expanding the defence budget, but the Rishi Sunak government is on a tight purse. There are demands by the worker unions to raise their pay. The strikes for higher wages are already adding to the enormous strain on the British economy. Rishi Sunak has distanced himself from the pledges made by his predecessor, Liz Truss, as far as hiking the defence spending from 2 to 3% of the UK GDP is concerned. For more on this story, we're now joined by Mike Buckley, senior journalist and political commentator in Sheffield, England. Thanks very much for speaking to WION. Now, how would you react to the comments that are being made by Ellwood and others, a stark warning that has been issued over the dire state of the British Army?
Well, as your listeners may know, the British government we've had for the last 13 years has underinvested in many parts of our country, including our health service, our education, our public transport, but also including the army and defence more generally. That, in some ways, was understandable, given how the world was for most of the last decade. But at the same time, we always knew that things were not going to stay safe. So it was a short-term financial saving, money-saving measure that has again got the UK into trouble. So we're in big trouble with our health service, for example. Lots of people needlessly sick and indeed dying because the health service isn't as good as it used to be. And the same is true with security and defence. Lack of investments over the last 15 years